Hello and welcome back to Swinging at Shins, usually an EPL podcast, but right now a World Cup podcast. I am joined, as always, by Aaron Slater. Aaron, how you doing?
Hello, Rhett. Not too bad.
Yeah, and as he said, I am Rhett Conaway, and we just got done watching the quarterfinal games. Turns out I'm really bad at predicting this World Cup. But
I
so do a
don't.
lot of other people.
I was gonna say I don't think you're the only one.
3 big names went home
Mm-hmm.
in these quarterfinals. There were 4 matches, 3 big games went home, 3 big names. I think it's safe to say that at least 3 of the 4 matches went away that we didn't necessarily think they were going to go.
Yeah.
Plenty of drama, plenty of stuff to get into. Real quick, though, no surprise, Brazil is out, and Tite, who said that he was going to retire no matter what, has retired. So,
I mean,
that happened.
It was either boom or bust for him. So,
yeah, and even then, he was always walking away.
Yeah,
he wanted to walk away on the with the World Cup win, which I thought he was going to. But what do I know? We're going to get into a couple of the ways that he shot himself in the foot later.
Mm-hmm.
Van Gaal is no longer leading the Dutch. It looks like this has been in the plan for months. He's older. He's 71, 72. I'm not very surprised. I know that he and the Dutch media have had kind of odds for a little while. They say he plays boring football. He says, I play football that wins. You can have, and honestly, with where this Dutch team in the quarterfinals,
they're on the up. They're not plateaued, that's for sure.
So I think you can have both. I don't like both, but I think Antonio Conte and Jose Mourinho show that you can play boring football that wins all the time. It looks like his replacement is going to be Ronald Koeman, however you pronounce his name.
Yeah, penned a 3-year deal, so he'll be taking over effective immediately.
Yeah, he's done well for the Dutch team, if I remember correctly. I know a lot of people are going to remember that by Barcelona standards, disastrous run he had with them. But I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, same.
National team's hard. Like we've said before in this podcast, you got the players you have, and you have to make those players do the best that they can do.
Yep.
It's very different than club football. But regardless, let's get into the first match of the quarterfinals, Croatia and Brazil.
And if you loved penalties, this was the day for you.
Yeah, a lot of people were surprised. I know I was surprised. When we got to extra time 0-0, I was very surprised.
Yeah, at least not to have a score.
Yeah. I mean, it's Brazil. We were talking about how good the Brazilians are. How do you keep them down? The way the Croatians did. Gvardiol is amazing, and we have talked about him, and he's not the only guy. But they set up perfectly to handle it. We talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
They fouled correctly. They used the touchline well. You brought up a point about them having the perfect ref for this match.
Yeah, Michael Oliver was the match day official, and we know him pretty well based off because he's based in the Premier League. The guy likes to call a lot of fouls and ticky-tacky at that. And we had called that if Croatia, gets these fouls or for them or against them, it could benefit them. And, they got the perfect match official.
Yep. And they played exactly the way they wanted to. Regardless of match official or not, I agree with you. Croatia never once let Brazil get into any kind of rhythm.
No.
Brazil's goal, which came in the 105th minute, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Extra time, too. Extra time of the extra time.
Yeah.
Stoppage.
Might have been the goal of the tournament for me.
That was. You think it's better than Richarlison's scissor kick?
I think Richarlison's scissor kick was a better individual moment.
Yeah, that's fair.
This Neymar goal, because of what it meant, it was astounding. Neymar just made it happen. It was a team goal, but he also made it happen. It wasn't quite as back and forth as like Jack Wilshere's goal against Norwich that everyone loves the highlights of.
Yep.
But it was in a very similar vein. He just cut right through Croatia, and that was that. And he roofed it, and everyone thought, this is it. It's over. Brazil going through, and Croatia went, no. Petkovic in the 117th minute.
Yeah.
With a header.
It took such a wicked deflection, and wicked is actually the wrong word. It was a devastating deflection, really.
Yeah.
You're doing your best as a defender to stop the ball at any means possible, and it hits your calf and it redirects the ball into the net. That's such a deflating moment for you as a defender. And I mean, as the offensive player, you take the shots that you're given, and you don't care how it goes in as long as it goes in.
They don't ask how, they ask how many.
One.
I'm a very big Patrick Rothfuss fan, and I love his King Killer Chronicles. Pat, please finish the third book, my God. But the second book's called The Wise Men Fear, and it opens with a saying that I'm going to change a bit for this. There are 3 things that all wise men fear: the sea and the storm, the anger of a gentleman, and Croatia in extra time. You got to beat them in regulation, because if you don't, you're going to lose. It doesn't matter. Possible goal of the tournament. I'm looking at the stats right now. Possession was 50-50.
Yep.
Now, keep in mind, this is FOTMOB. A lot of people are getting used to the in-contest stat. I don't know how that gets broken down. But FOTMOB has 50-50. Expected goals. Croatia 0.63, Brazil 2.55.
Yeah.
21 shots, 4 big chances. Both of them, they almost had an identical amount of passes.
I saw that too. 613
to 609.
That's completed passes. That even at that rate, their pass attempts as well was 694 and 684. So I mean, it was very much just a mirrored game.
Yeah, except for Brazil was clearly the better offensive team.
Yeah, well.
But it doesn't matter if you don't score. And they didn't score apart from the one.
Yep.
If Neymar does that in the 85th minute instead of the 105th minute, it's over.
Yep.
I'm not saying Neymar should have done more. Please do not take that away from this podcast.
Oh, God, no. He is a generational talent as well. And it's almost abuse in the way that Brazil treats that man.
Speaking of abuse, I do want to get into how Tite managed this match. You desperately need a goal. You take Vinicius off in the 64th minute. You take Rafinha off in the 56th. They're replaced by Antony and Rodrigo. You get the goal that you want, and you immediately put on Fred and Alexandro? You put on Fred?
I see that in the sense that he was looking for a high energy kind of guy, somebody who's going to sit in the pockets and stuff.
Well, you just said high energy and sit in the pockets. Fabinho's on the bench. Sits in the pocket better than anybody. High energy, you have Gabriel Martinelli and Bruno Guimaraes on the bench, ready to go. Young, legs for days. And you go, it's Fred.
You know what? I forgot that Fabinho wasn't even on this bench. I don't know what he was doing. Oh, my God. Fabinho would have been the perfect guy. He's tall. He's great in the air.
He's poised. He doesn't make a mistake. He puts himself where the ball's supposed to be. I do not understand his choices. And then other choices I don't understand. And we were talking about this at the bar today. In fact, I think the entire bar had a discussion about this exact thing. Let's talk penalties.
Oh, dear. Yeah, let's talk penalties.
Casemiro, great penalty. Somehow still an underappreciated player. I don't know how you win like 3 Champions Leagues with Real Madrid and people still don't appreciate you. But underappreciated player. Pedro, Love the choice. I think Rodrigo should have taken a pen. I do not think he should have been first.
Agreed. I really think. Tell
Because
me
your
what you
first penalty taker should be your number one guy. Penalties are all about momentum.
think. Mm-hmm.
So why Neymar wasn't the first guy to take a pen, I do not understand.
Well,
But here's the thing I really don't understand. He didn't even take one.
Yep.
You need the fourth penalty to continue. And Marquinhos walks forward? I don't even know what's going on anymore.
So they're preset lineups, right?
They are, but that's why Go ahead, make your point.
So here's what Tite had to say about that, and it's per quote right here. We should have taken the fifth and decisive penalty. The player with the most quality and mental skill is the one to be in charge in the moment when the pressure is high. He's right, but you have to get there.
Yeah, he's only right if things work out that particular way.
Right.
You and I are both very big baseball fans, and one thing that we've seen a shift in baseball is your best relief pitcher is your closer, and your closer only ever came in the ninth inning.
Yep.
Okay, but what happens if the setup guy in the eighth inning gets into a jam, and you have the three best hitters coming up? Like, is that not actually the high leverage situation?
That is extremely high leverage situation.
You know, and so we're seeing that shift happen in baseball. And for me, take away all the other numbers. The number 5 penalty taker is not guaranteed to take a pen. We watched it happen in the Brazil game. You know who is guaranteed to take a pen?
The first guy.
And you know who's going to set the tone for everybody else?
The first guy.
I do not understand.
That's what I was saying too. I really should have been Neymar doing that first PK, having that first shot.
You work yourself into a position where you're like, well, you know, if certain things work out, it's like, yeah, but you got to get there.
Yeah. Why are you waiting? Like, why are you that reliant on? Not even reliant. Why are you hoping it's going to go 5 shots?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, normally they do, and that's something that we should all talk about with pens. There have been some bad penalties.
Oh, brutal.
And there have been some really good goalkeeping.
Yep.
And putting those together, there have been a lot of failed penalties in this World Cup.
A la Rodrigo.
I'm going to be questioning that for a long, long time. Yep. I think it's the wrong choice. I understand he's Brazilian royalty and I'm just some guy, but that does not make any sense to me. I think you're thinking way above where you should be. Speaking of the guy who didn't take the penalty, Neymar. Neymar had an interesting quote after this match. He's quoted as saying, I want to take the time to think about it. Think about what I want for myself. I will not close the door to playing with Brazil, nor will I say 100% that I'll come back. Do you think Neymar is going to be in the next World Cup?
He'd be dumb not to. It's the World Cup. Like, you don't turn down the World Cup. He's going to be at
30.
Something like that.
No, he is. I just looked it up. He's 30.
Okay, he's 30. Fair enough.
He has 3.5 years.
Yep.
Because of the stupid World Cup in Qatar. He'll be 33, maybe 34. Yeah, be 33 and a half. You know what? He probably is the type of guy who still cares about that. Oh, hey, I'm 30. No, I'm 30 and a half. He may take a step away. You know, he may say, don't call me up for the next couple friendlies.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But I cannot imagine that this guy at 34 years old is going to be like, nah, for me, fam. Don't want to play for Brazil in the World Cup. I don't see that. I think that's also crazy to me. I'm going to be saying that a lot because it was a crazy quarterfinals. But I do not see that being a thing.
No.
I think he's absolutely back. If he's not back, there is some kind of political infighting, which it's Brazil. There very well could be.
Yeah.
Croatia, again, continues to take penalties incredibly well.
Yes, they do.
And
They know how to do it.
I know that penalties are a crap shot to a point. Also, a lot of people are talking about how good Livakovic, their goalkeeper, was. Rodrigo's pen was bad.
Yep. Very
And
bad.
Marquinhos was. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to crap on the guy. You're not supposed to save a pen. Like, if you save a pen, it's almost just as much that the other guy screwed up as you guessed right. Because if the guy hits the ball perfectly, you can't save it. However, people are like, oh, man, Livakovic. And it's like, he did well, but he's not as good as the goalkeeper in the match we're about to get into.
No.
Which is Argentina and the Netherlands.
Yeah, this game was something wild. I thought Argentina had this in the bag.
I think everyone, including Argentina.
I think it got a real messy at the end of it, too. There was 17 cards. And this is the same ref that refed the Iran-United States game. And I don't remember if there was that many cards, but I do remember him being a very poor ref. And FIFA really should take a look at not having him in any high leverage games for the rest of the tournament. He is brutal. I don't think I'll watch a game if he's going to be, match day official. It's awful. Nobody wants to see this guy. I think he thinks he's the big stage. That's my thing.
I don't know if he thinks he's a big stage. I think he doesn't know how to
manage the big stage.
He doesn't know how to keep any kind of discipline without a card.
That I believe too. That's a very
Marco Oliver, for all of his faults, will talk to you.
Yep.
He will explain why you're wrong. But he will talk to you and say you were wrong. I just want to fact check real quick that he was actually the ref for the USA-Iran game.
I want to say he was.
Is
either that or England?
He was. You had it right.
Okay.
Some people were commenting on how good of a ref he was. And I know you and I did not enjoy the reffing in the Iran game.
Nope.
I also remember talking to you and saying when we do the Wicked Good Sports clip, by the way, everyone check out the Wicked Good Sports channel. We cover everything, and we did U.S. men's team coverage over there. I do remember saying I don't want to talk about the ref.
Yep.
However, after the poor showing that he had in this match, I do think it's fair game because it's no longer about the USA, and I think he was much worse in this game.
Oh God, yeah. Both
17 cards.
Yeah.
And the one card that he really needed to give out, which was a red card to Paredes, however you pronounce his name, he didn't.
Oh, the one where he nerfed the ball into the
that was like
bench.
Nuclear.
Yeah, I watched that back. That was something impressive. That he didn't get a red.
I mean, he just you absolutely either need to give him 2 yellow cards or a yellow and a straight red. But either way, he should not be on the field after that.
No.
Because he was the one who led in with the foul anyway.
I was going to say, he instigated that whole thing.
He started the entire thing. And
yeah, no, he's I don't know who the manager is for Argentina, but he definitely needs to get Paredes together for the next game because he is not going to be able to do that sort of stuff. One, because he'll get banned for the next game.
2, we might die. It's Croatia.
Yeah, that's true.
I just to bring it home on the reffing before we get into the game.
Yep.
Our old coach, like I've mentioned before, we have a messenger with him. At 8:25 this morning, we woke up to a message from him saying, "I'm still blown away by the officiating of that game. I thought I'd sleep it off, but I didn't."
It's ugly.
That was about as bad as it was. Guys on the bench were getting cards.
Yeah, Wegenhurst got a card in like the 16th minute. I'm like, what?
Both teams got carded on the bench for yelling at the referee, and at that point, you're not doing a good job.
No.
If both sides are mad at you, you're not doing a good job.
No. He's
anyway.
awful.
End of the match.
Yes, please.
The thing that mattered, the thing that we watched it for. There was a little bit of dispute. Van Gaal definitely talks a lot, and he's very gruff, and he's very, they would like to say straightforward. It rubbed people the wrong way. For me, this is kind of like the whole Michael Jordan thing where I'm just going to find a reason to be pissed at you. I never cared what the other guy was saying because that wasn't what mattered, but
yeah,
they led into it. Like you said, I really thought the Argentina had this one in the bag.
Yep.
It looked like they did for a while. Molina gets a goal, assist by Messi, 35th minute.
By the way, finally somebody in Argentina is going to score a goal other than Alvarez and Messi.
True. And we're going to get to the other problem with that in a minute. Argentina didn't look great leading up into that. Excuse me. But again, it's that moment of brilliance, and that's what you need.
Yep.
You noticed something about the Argentine defense?
They played as a back five-ish, but Mob here has them as a back three. So either way, they're probably playing back five when they get countered on. I think that probably
Molina and Acuna, I think, dropped a lot.
Yeah, they probably came and prevented a lot of the counterattacking, whether it was stopping Gakpo, Depay, or Bergwijn. Or Dumfries. I mean, Dumfries was a problem too, but
Dumfries wasn't that much of a problem this match, though.
Well, that's possibly because they shut him down, gave him two players on the ball there when he was on the ball, so he wasn't allowed to be able to get those crosses in as he did in the United States games.
Depay, I didn't think ever looked that good. Gakpo, I didn't think ever looked that good.
No.
Bergwijn never looked that good.
They looked very broken.
Messi ended up scoring a penalty in the 73rd minute.
Yep. Which it was a penalty. The guy got chopped his feet right out.
The penalty, slammed it into the side netting.
Yep.
And at this point, you think, okay, it's all over.
Done. I can go home.
In the 83rd minute, Wout gets a goal. And I'm going to be honest, I watched that happen and I went, oh, good for them. They got one. I'm serious. At no point did my mind go, uh-oh, we got a game now. That didn't happen.
I almost got that score line too. You know how mad I was when they scored in that?
You were very mad.
Oh,
you love the Argentines.
I love Messi.
I mean, who doesn't? One thing that I do want to bring up, and one of the reasons why I think that I was not scared is because it happened in the 83rd minute.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting there's going to be 10 minutes of stoppage time.
Which a lot of players complained about. They were like, why are we getting 10? I think it was Messi actually complained about it. He's like, why are we having to play against 10-minute stoppage time right now? It wasn't. Well, there was that. Well, that was after the fact too, wasn't it? The big altercation. Yeah, that was.
No, the altercation happened. Let's see, when did he get his card? In the 89th minute.
Yeah, okay.
Well, because you guys are time wasting. I've thought for a very long time that if we're going to do stoppage time the way we should, it should be closer to 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes. We never did, and players got used to it.
Yeah.
But that's how I feel it always should have been. Regardless, 89th minute. Paredes, however you say his name. Bad foul. ends up getting called for the foul.
Yep.
I don't know if it was out of frustration. I don't know if it was out of malice. Just absolutely nuked a ball into the dugout. And I mean, like, pinged an empty seat at head level.
Yeah, if there was somebody there, they were concussed.
Yeah, no, it was a bad choice. And then dugouts were cleared, guys were yelling at each other, a bunch of guys with bibs were on the. I don't know how anyone didn't get red carded. That's so weird to me.
That again, you see where that ref went to? I don't know if you watched that game. He was 20 yards off to the side of the skirmish. Like, I'm not going to deal with these dudes.
I forget who it was. Virgil van Dijk dropped a guy.
Oh, it was Paredes, I thought. He straight up just, like, chest bumped him onto the floor.
But it was rough. It was rough. And then 90 minutes plus 11, Paredes gives up a dumb foul at the top of the box.
Yeah, he's
22 yards out.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks, here we go. Much like how a other game ended that we just got done watching. Everyone's thinking, here we go, free kick. Let's see what they can do. And Coop Miners just does this cheeky little pass right through the middle of everybody to find Woot. And he slots it into the back. And it's 2-2. And away we go to extra time.
That was something crazy. I mean, what kind of cojones do you have on you to do that sort of pass? It's something. It's alpha training ground. That's all you're saying during the whole time. That's a training ground play right there.
And it's one of those where I think if you look at the actual numbers in that moment, because everyone's expecting, again, if everyone started short passing all the time, everyone would be expecting the short pass.
Yeah.
And the numbers would change. But in that moment, you probably have a better chance of scoring if you do what he did.
Yeah.
But if you don't, and
you look like an idiot.
Everyone go, oh, what if I'm an idiot? Why'd you fucking do that? It's like, well, you know. Anyway, kind of boring extra time, to be honest.
Yeah, there was.
Dumfries got the double yellow. But apart from that, it was kind of boring. No one really tried to do anything. And away we go to penalties.
Yep.
Before we get to penalties real quick, though, expected goals, Netherlands 0.55, Argentina 1.92. Apart from that, possession almost split down the middle.
Yep.
I said that we were going to get back to this when you talked about guys scoring. Lisandro Martinez still has not turned it on.
Nope.
I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Nope. Maybe he's got family issues. Maybe a pet died. I don't know. He needs to get over it. Nah, that's not true. You should go through your grieving process. I don't want to sound that cold. That was really cold.
Anyway, penalties happen. Virgil van Dijk steps up. And Emi Martinez, nah, get that out of here.
He said, SWAT.
Does the exact opposite of what he did in the 73rd minute, which I thought was genius. He put in the right side netting, the first one. Second one, it's like the laziest pass on the opposite side, but what are you going to do?
I want to paint a picture for our viewers here, too. This goalkeeper that the Dutch have is 6'8". He is enormous in the goalkeeping area. He's an absolute unit. So you have to be precise in either placement or deceiving the goalkeeper, because there's a chance he could save it, even if you put it down the middle and he dives. So there's that.
Yeah, no, he did. They did it. Berghuis.
I have no idea how to pronounce this name, and I'm not even going to give it a try.
Not a great goal attempt. Not a great PK attempt. Emi Martinez again there. Paredes, idiot, steps up, scores. So he thinks he's a hero. Then Coop Miners steps up, manages to actually score one.
Yeah.
Which is something that I think is like After that, everyone just scored pretty much all the time. So you
Yep.
get to Fernandez for Argentina. But at that point, I mean, he'd already done his job.
Yep. Well, this is the thing too, right here. Lissandro Martinez came up, and we are bagging on him the whole time here, and he actually finished the game off.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that puts him into the right frame of mind here to be like, oh yeah, I'm a goal scorer. I can do this. And maybe they can get something out of him for the next match. And I'm presuming that Argentina is going to go in the finals. And the match after that, I guess they would, if they won the next one anyway, they play semis. So, but maybe this sparks something in Lissandro at this point. Lautaro, sorry, I got them mixed up.
Oh, I said Lissandro. That was my problem. You're right. Is Lautaro. Oops. Well, he's lucky that he's getting this many chances. That's what I have to say about him.
For real.
On to match number 3 of the quarterfinals. Morocco.
The
First
Cinderella.
to make the semifinals.
The Cinderella is dancing on.
Again, they play teams in such a way that the teams are playing look bad.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, they're not doing anything in particularly special. They're not doing anything in particular that is special. They're just doing it, whatever it is, well enough.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree 100%.
Portugal didn't look bad in this game. They really didn't. They had
I thought
a few big chances, a couple of shots that hit the framework there. They just, I don't know, they didn't capitalize.
Portugal to me looked a lot like Spain. And Morocco has now conquested the Iberian Peninsula. Morocco has. Portugal had 73% of possession.
Yeah.
They had 567 accurate passes.
Yeah.
Expected goals of 0.92, Morocco 1.4. Morocco had 106 passes. It's one of those, yes, the header was an amazing header.
It was very good.
And people are going to say they lost on one header, but
you lost.
Morocco looked better almost the entire match, I thought. Portugal didn't really do anything the first half.
Yeah. When they had the ball, they were effective with the ball. It's the quality on the ball when they have the ball that has brought the downfall of Spain and Portugal.
Yeah, they just one thing they do, you said that they don't do anything special. I do think they do one thing special. They, as a unit, they move as a unit. And it's hard to tell at what you normally see, the side view that you see from all the broadcasts. But from a net to net view or a top down view, there are just 11 guys that just
very compact. And not even compact. I don't want to put in the words. They're
just in sync.
Yeah.
They're synchronized, everything they do. And then we were talking about press triggers with the Croatia and Brazil leading into it in our preview. They have those down to a science. They know exactly when you're going to make a mistake and they jump on it.
Their anticipation of where the next pass is going to be is impeccable.
Yep. And again, Portugal's another team that kind of ran off rhythm.
Yeah.
And Morocco just takes it away.
Yeah. They did a good job. I mean, congratulations to Morocco. So I don't know. I don't know. Their goalkeeper has been very good too. He's made the perfect save every time.
He was man of the match again, and he deserved it. So we're not saying his name because it's 10 letters long and 8 of them are vowels, and I don't know how to say it.
I think his last name is Banu. Is that how you?
That's probably how you're supposed to say it. He's been immense. He's been exactly what you want. And I think that this plays a lot with Morocco showing that they don't have to play with their only 11 guys because Mazurai, who has been so good, did not play this match.
Yep.
And the guy who came in for him had an assist. Allah. I just did it. Well, what we're trying to say is they absolutely deserve to be here, and it's just fun to watch.
Yep.
And not to take away from Morocco, because they do deserve to be here, but this is something I made this point to you earlier. Everyone's talking about Morocco and the Cinderella story, and that is absolutely deserved. I feel like Croatia isn't getting talked about enough because, they were finalists last time. It's like, they probably shouldn't have been. Croatia is this tiny, tiny little country, and it is incredibly impressive that they're here. And then they're doing it again.
Yeah, that's fair. They should. Both teams should get their respective highlights right now.
There are kind of two Cinderella stories going on right now, and Morocco is definitely more because this is their first time at the ball.
Yeah.
But Croatia being back here again. Again, they outlasted Brazil again.
Yep.
They outlasted England again. They outlasted Spain and Germany again. Italy didn't even make the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, Croatia is doing absolutely fantastic. But all that to be said, not to take away from Morocco. Morocco is just – they deserve to be here. And quite frankly, if they beat France, I'm not surprised.
Nope, not even a little bit.
And it's going to be the same way. They're going to kill France's momentum. I think today showed you in the England match that we are leading into because it's not coming home. England showed you how to shut down Mbappe. It is 3 parts Kyle Walker, which they don't have, but they have Hakimi. So I believe in them.
Yeah.
But on to England, France, Battle of Agincourt 2.0, Battle of Waterloo 2.0. There was a lot of yelling about like that.
Yeah.
I thought England was the better team almost the entirety of the match.
Me too. They deserved something, and unfortunately, they walked away with nothing except for plane tickets.
Yeah, they kind of have the American issue. All this build-up and no way to finish.
Come on, say it. You know you want to.
All fur coat, no trousers.
That's better.
It's just all right, let's talk about France. Tuchel goal. What a banger.
That was so special.
What an absolute banger. And, of course, everyone's yelling because it was taken from so far away that he has to get – he doesn't have to get to that. No one gets to that. I am not a Pickford fan. No one gets to that. The expected goals on this was 0.03. That is how perfect of a hit he had.
Yeah. I'm thinking if it's Pickford, if it's anybody but Pickford, excuse me, with his Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, they save it.
No.
Well, probably not because it was very good. So
it doesn't happen.
I just want to bash on Pickford people. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of that.
It was 108 kilometers per hour, not kilograms.
So like 86 miles an hour.
It went through legs.
Yep.
It never got more than a foot off the ground.
Yep.
And from the moment Pickford picked it up, it was moving away from him constantly.
Yep.
You can't save that.
Not even a little.
Absolutely cannot save it. It was the absolute perfect hit. It's the type of hit where every time you see someone wind up and it goes like 20 feet off, and everyone's like, oh, what are you doing? That's a waste of a thing. Like, yeah, but when it hits and it looks like this, you go to the semifinals of the World Cup.
Yeah, you do.
To get into the stats real quick, and we're going to lead into this. I'm sure we're going to talk about this game a lot, mostly because this is the game that you and I got to watch the most of.
Yeah.
England. All right, so France. Have you looked at the stats?
Not just now I did.
Okay.
I'm sure you're going to do something.
You got to stop doing that because I want to quiz you because this is not what I expected. France's expected goals 1.01. England's 2.4. That feels right. For what I watched, that feels right.
Yeah.
I kind of expected France's to be a little lower.
I think it's mostly because of Giroud's. There was two Giroud headers that were, one was saved and obviously the other one wasn't. That really increased that up exponentially. But
yeah, I'm trying to get to the first one. Yeah, the first one that was saved that you and I were just like, I can't believe, how does he get to those balls? That doesn't make any sense.
yeah.
Expected goal on its own is 0.38. And then the one that he scored was actually only 0.17. I think it was John Stones that he just absolutely he just won the ball. He just got there before anyone else did. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah. He's just got a, I was telling you, there's similarities between him and Halan, and it's that they command around the penalty and the 6-yard box. They don't really go outside. They're the perfect poacher, essentially.
Yep.
Stay in that area, and everybody knows that everybody, offense and defense, know that you're in that area, but there's nothing you can do.
And he always gets it on net.
Yep.
Whenever the ball touches his head, he always gets it on net. It's absolutely amazing. Best player today, who do you think it was?
In my mind?
Yep.
Personally, I think it's Lloris. I give it up to the goalkeeper. Honestly, if it was anybody else, I don't think they're making the saves he does.
There were a couple good saves.
It was the Harry Kane one where he saved the tried to chip over him. There was a few shots from some other names I can't think of off the top of my head that were.
Well, Bellingham had that volley. That was so good.
Is that the one where it was at him, but he had to make the save kind of deal and pushed it over the bar?
Yeah, he had to jump up to meet it.
Yeah. If I'm talking about an outfield player, man, I think I'd probably go. Jesus, I guess Griezmann. I don't really care for him, but he was a menace. He was all over the place. He was holding the ball well. He was making these flare passes that were so delightful to watch.
I agree. So does FOTMob.
Yeah, I see that.
Griezmann had 2 assists, and I think he deserved probably not. You don't deserve an assist on the Tchouaméni. He just makes that happen. That Giroud service that he gave him, though, on that second goal was so nice. It should probably count as 2 assists, so I'm okay with that. I think Griezmann was probably the best player. I think the player that did the most, and no surprise, is Saka. He won that penalty.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even necessarily the only foul that should have been given. He looked really good. He was making things happen. He was making fouls be called. He looked great on the ball. He had good movement.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly than that, when he got subbed off in the 79th minute, England for like 10 minutes had no idea what to do.
Yeah, they looked pretty lost, if you ask me. And everyone else agrees with that, to be honest. Raheem Sterling, I'm sorry, you don't put in somebody who has a traumatic situation happen to them. Like, I understand he wants to play, but also Saka was a game changer the whole time. He was their best player.
He very much was. This is my turn to say, just say it. Who should they have put in?
Oh, instead of Raheem or Mason Mount?
Either.
Okay, so I would have done Rashford first. If you're really going to go attacking, it's Rashford first. And then you put in James Maddison.
There it is. I agree. I absolutely agree. I don't know. Did James Madison get any minutes?
No,
I mean, not tonight, like in the tournament.
no.
It's messed up.
What a waste of a talent. He's so good.
Speaking
I'm not a
of,
Lester fan.
Gareth
He's so
Southgate
good,
has not
though.
committed. Gareth Southgate is not committed to anything after this.
No.
And so they set up correctly. This is how I would have set up. Again, we can argue Pickford, Ramsdale, whatever, but Pickford, Shaw, Maguire, Stones, Walker, Bellingham, Rice, Henderson, Foden, Kane, Saka. That's how I set up this team too. I think that's absolutely fine. I thought Foden did very well for a lot of this match.
Yes.
Here's my issue. And I understand. No, not even that I understand. Here's my issue. Subs didn't happen until right after the Giroud goal, and at that point, it's the 79th minute.
Yep.
That's not good enough.
Like,
you got Rashford and Mount on the bench. Rashford comes in the 85th minute. You need a goal. And
you play to win the game.
I understand people are going to say, well, it was tied at the time. Your best attempt on goal was a penalty. You need playmakers to get you better attempts on goal because it's going to take a very good attempt to beat Lloris. You just got done saying that you thought he was the best player on the field today.
Yep.
I'm not arguing that fact. You need Mount and Rashford out there, and you need them earlier.
Agreed. I think
I also would not take Saka off.
Huh? I'm sorry?
I also would not take Saka off.
No, God, no. They would have taken off Henderson and Rice.
I'm not sure I would have taken off Rice. Might have taken off Foden.
I don't have a problem with that. The only reason I say Rice is because I would have put in I'm going to show my claret and blue here in a minute. Jack Grealish, and he can play that deep lying role play situation.
True, but the thing is, I think Rice was already doing a perfectly fine job with it.
God, no, I'm not bashing Rice at all.
So
I'm just saying if
I'm trying to build goals, that's not where I necessarily need to change.
Yeah, but I think that if you're looking for fouls in a particular situation in particular areas, you put in Grealish.
But then you just said you had him lying deep. Here's my thing. Here's what they should have done, and I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and then I'm also going to get a lot of, well, this was hindsight. Foden should probably stay on. Saka definitely needs to stay on. He's the best player you have in the field. Yeah, I'm going to go there. I would put on Rashford and take off Kane.
I don't have a problem with that.
I really would. Rashford and Saka and Foden and Mason Mount have all proven that they play very well together.
Yeah.
Overlapping runs. Don't play with a true number 9. I don't care where the ball comes from. They're all very, very good soccer players. They're going to find space in the middle. Saka pushes up into the middle when he needs to. Half the time, Kane's not even in the middle anyway.
Yeah.
He's facilitating, which is a good aspect of his game.
Yeah.
And I think he's very good. But at that point, I need a goal. And it's not like if you get in it, first of all, and this is where people are going to say, well, in hindsight's 2020. If you get into a penalty situation between Saka and Rashford, you have two guys who can take pens. Yep. Saka has not missed a pen since the Euros. He's taking them for Arsenal now. Jesus doesn't take Arsenal's pens. Saka does, and he doesn't miss.
Yeah.
Rashford's also very good at taking pens, so you can't say it's the pen thing. And shocker, Harry Kane missed the pen.
Yeah.
And that's where like hindsight's 2020, but you need a goal. Even when it's 1-1, you need a goal.
I think I agree with your statement that if Southgate had the cojones to take off Kane to put in Rashford, I think that adds another dynamic too, because Rashford's much more pacier than Kane is. And he could have, a defender could have floated a ball for him to go direct, or He could have cut between the lines better. Like Kane is a very good hold up play and dribbler, and you can get that snapshot from him from 18 yards out, and it's so gorgeous. But you're looking for somebody to take the top off on a just like something quick.
You're looking
It's
for
not
the
going to be
break.
Kane. It's not going
You're
to be
looking
Kane.
for the break, which is how France did it. I mean,
Yeah.
that second goal was pretty much on the break.
Yep.
It was against the run of play. And that's the other thing. I understand it was against the run of play from a who's handling possession and who's generating chances. But much like with the United States men's team, it doesn't matter if you're not scoring goals. And apart from a penalty that Saka earned off a, let's be honest, dumb challenge.
Yeah, they've got a real problem with Theo Hernandez. That was some really dumb fouls he had.
You weren't actually getting good chances on net. Yeah, Lloris was doing well, but that belly was from a long way. Henderson had a good, I understand it got blocked, but Henderson had a very, very good volley that was on the ground the entire time that I thought was going to be a goal. It looked close. Maguire got close with a header at one point.
That one was crazy close.
But I don't think that they were doing enough to generate goals. And I understand, again, this is one of those go in, and now it's 2-1 in England's favor, and we're not having this conversation, and that's all fair. Again, it's one of those things where at the moment you need to have the best 11 guys on the field. And with what Mount can do, with how well Rashford's been playing, with
Did you leave him on the bench late?
Was today.
Yeah.
You didn't have your best guys on the field at any point. And I think France did. France made one sub. It was Kingsley Coman in the 79th minute.
Yeah.
Apart from that, Giroud, Dembele, Griezmann, Mbappe, Rabiot, Tchouameni. I mean, it's not like they don't have guys. France has guys on their bench.
Yep.
Camavinga stayed there. Youssef Fofana stayed there. Benjamin Pavard stayed on the bench. William Saliba isn't even playing. That's how good their center backs are. Marcus Thurman's still on the bench. Like, they have a bench. They just had their best 11 guys.
Yeah, they don't need to use it. Only break glass in case of emergency.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, it's a Southgate thing that I don't necessarily agree with how he went about it. And the worst thing is every single time England fails, I feel like I can point to Southgate as you didn't do well enough.
Do English fans get their wish finally and Southgate gets let go?
I'm not sure he comes back. Even if, I think it might not even be his choice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, either he walks out or he gets fired.
Yeah, I think he may not choose to come back. That's what I'm trying to say. Having a tough time saying it. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know if he chooses to come back because at a certain point, we talk about confidence with players. You have to have confidence as a manager.
Yeah.
And he looks at these players, and on paper, everyone playing their best, I would want better center backs. But
they left Yoko Tomori at home.
Yes, they did, and that was an issue. But on paper, they have a squad that really should be in the semifinals or the finals of every major tournament.
Yeah, agreed.
They have the striker that they need. They have plenty of wingers and midfielders. They have depth. They have
they have the perfect dream going right now. And it's so frustrating to if you're an England fan
they have a semifinals loss, a Euro finals loss, and then a quarterfinals loss.
I think if you're England fans, you should be upset that Gareth Southgate has done such a poor job in every major tournament. You need somebody else to get them over the hump. I don't know who it is right now. I haven't researched that, but there's got to be somebody out there that's better than what he's doing right now.
Foden, Kane, Saka.
Yep.
Rice, Bellingham, Henderson. Shaw, Stones, Maguire, Kyle Walker, who is immense today. Pickford. Your bench is Raheem Sterling, Mason Mount, Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish, Callum Wilson, Conor Gallagher, James Maddison, Calvin Phillips, Connor Cody, Eric Dyer, Kieran Trippier, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and then Aaron Ramsdale and Nick Pope.
And they're going home.
Yeah, and they're going home. I don't understand it.
I don't know either.
I know you and I watch more EPL than any other league, and we're going to get stuck. The second best league in Europe, I will say, is the Bundesliga. And where the hell is Germany right now?
They've been having spa days for the last week.
I don't understand how this team doesn't win. Except for it's a belief issue, because France looks like they're going to win. France comes out, they're like, no, we're going to beat you. It's going to be fine. Watch this. Every time Giroud heads the ball, he thinks he's going to get a goal.
Yep.
Mbappe.
You're starting Mbappe on the wing. You're starting a striker on the wing. How insane that. It's so insane to me.
I'll argue he's better out there.
I think it definitely adds a different dynamic that now he's not getting beaten up by the center backs, where now he's got a little bit easier defender. It's not always easy playing the winger like that as a fullback, but
he's so good facilitating.
Yeah, that too.
He does so well. He does that back post cross.
Ah, gorgeous.
That the keeper can't not come out to. The keeper can't not come out to it because it's going to get headed, but he can't come out to it because it's going to be in the net if no one touches it, and He just puts him right in that in between. I don't know what to do, and he creates uncertainty, which is exactly what his job is.
Yeah,
and he does it so well. And then Griezmann, you and I talked about this, and I want to talk about it on the pod. What's going on at Atletico? You have João Felix and Antoine Griezmann, and the second they get out from under Diego Simeone, they look like world beaters.
Yeah. My take is that Diego Simeone doesn't know how to deal with personalities. That he loves an underdog story more so than he likes having these big prolific names. I think Simeone wants the attention on him more so than his players.
Maybe. He definitely gets paid enough to think that he's a diva. I don't know. That seems like such a surface level. Someone who watches La Liga, please fill us in, because we're confused. I had kind of written off João Felix. I was like, well, another Jaime Rodriguez. What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And then this tournament, it's like, holy God, is he good?
Please come to Aston Villa. Please. He's
coming to the Arsenal now, mate.
I don't think so.
No, because we need to find another center defensive mid, another center back, and now a striker.
Well, the Rabiot's out there.
I don't want Rabiot. Whatever. Keep an eye out for us. We are going to hopefully do a semifinal preview and get that out. Anything else that you want to talk about or go over with the quarterfinals or the World Cup in general?
No, I think I'm all set. I think I got all my complaints and grievances out.
I have one thing I do want to touch on.
Okay.
As everyone knows by now, probably, especially if you're listening to this podcast, Grant Wall passed away in Qatar. I've read a lot of Grant stuff over the years. He is on the Mount Rushmore of American soccer journalists. Maybe the best. He was incredibly well liked. He did a very good job. We've talked about the Qatari politics before. I just would like to caution people. We have no idea what happened. He was sick. He was sick for weeks leading into it. We weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what happened. I understand that his brother's distraught, but his brother has no idea what happened. Let's just let this whole thing work out before we start sending allegations. Now, if any of it turns out to be true, then yeah, there's going to be a shitstorm. But for right now, let's just mourn the fact that a very, very good journalist is no longer with us and leave it at that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that sad and somber moment out of the way, it is time to plug stuff. This is Swinging at Shins. We are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. We are on Apple Music. I think technically Apple Podcasts. I don't know. I don't do Apple. We are a podcast under the umbrella of Wicked Good Sports, which is itself under the umbrella of Wicked Good Everything. Wicked Good Sports covers the Bruins on Power Play, the Celtics on At the Buzzer, the Saints on Bayou Breakdown, the Dolphins on the Miami Minute. Aaron covers Austin Villa at the Villa Villa. I cover Arsenal at the Way West Stand. I also cover the Red Sox at Around the Diamond. All of that can be found on Spotify, on Apple Music, and on YouTube. Links for everything in the description. We have an Instagram. We have a TikTok.
Yep.
We leave it at that. Nope, we have a Facebook as well.
Yep.
Oh, man, we got a lot of stuff. And then on top of that, I am running with people the currently unofficial, hopefully soon official Albany Gooners. We are a supporters group for Arsenal in the Albany/Capital Region of New York. So if you were ever in town and you want to watch a Arsenal game with us, we are at Wolf's Beer Garden. If you were ever in town and you want to watch a soccer match, go to Wolf's Beer Garden. They're fantastic. Best soccer bar I've been to a bunch. If you were ever in Albany and just want a beer, go to Wolf's Beer Garden. They have really good beer. We are not actually in any way affiliated with them. We just go there a lot and like it. So yeah, I think that concludes all the plug one. Hey, thanks for watching that clip. If you enjoyed it, we have more clips on Wicked Good Sports, so please hang around. We have all kinds of soccer coverage as well as our main podcast, Swinging at Shins. You can find links to all of it in the description down below. Thank you.